24/7 by our respective governments, whether it's the Polish government, the American government, the British government. They are incapable of trusting their citizens with the truth, because if they were, then it wouldn't be the prank. Prank wouldn't work, because they'd be finding out things that were already told to the general audience. Why is this important? Well, here in the United States, we have the U.S. government using the courts to attack free speech. I mean, they're coming after me. We just had a trial in Florida of the Hura 3. One of the things that came out of that was the definition of disinformation. And that's an important term. You saw that Hillary Clinton used it in her interview with Rachel Maddow. We have to defeat misinformation. We have to defeat disinformation. And most people sit there and go, well, I mean, after all, shouldn't we support truth over lies? Sure. But what if the government's definition of disinformation has nothing to do with truth? What if the government's definition of disinformation is anything that deviates from the official narrative set forth by the government? And that's the definition that the U.S. courts embraced. Anything that deviates from the official narrative set forth by the U.S. government is disinformation. Just so you understand, let's put this in historical context. You were telling me before we went live that you saw an ABC interview about me in the lead up to the war and how I was saying that there was no weapons of mass destruction, etc. Truth, historical truth. We now know it. Even the people that didn't believe me then are saying, well, God, Scott, you were right then. Okay, God, we'll give you that. That's disinformation. It's not the truth. See, I was guilty of disinformation. And if we had in place laws that said anybody who dares speak about, put out disinformation needs to be silenced, maybe criminally silenced, then the truths I was trying to tell to stop this war, I wouldn't have been allowed to say it because it's disinformation. That's the danger that we're in right now. Free speech is under attack. I mean, just take a look at some of the insanity that's going on. Meta, the former Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, has now yielded to pressure from the U.S. government to silence RT. He shut down Instagram in India because of the concerns that they were, promoting a Russian pro-Russian narrative, and he's now shut down Russia on Meta on Facebook. I mean, this isn't free speech. You can say, well, I don't agree with the Russian narrative. Fine, don't agree with it. Come up with a better narrative. Come up with a better point of view. But once you start suppressing free speech, it's over. The constitutional republic we call America is finished. And it's not me saying that. John F. Kennedy warned about this in April of 1961 in a speech he gave before the American Press Association. He said that, I might not be happy with what you write, but you have every right to, not just a right to write it, you have a duty. You have a duty to hold me to account, to criticize me, because from criticism, better decisions are made. And yet today we're not allowed to criticize. We're not allowed to question. We're not allowed to do our duty as American citizens. Now, I know there's a lot of foreigners out there that say, well, Scott, free speech, like in Russia, they say, well, we don't have free speech. You're Russia. That's okay. That's your business, not mine. China, I don't care. That's your business, not mine. America has free speech. It's one of the fundamental cornerstone rights we have as American citizens that helps define what this constitutional republic is. It helps make American democracy function. And when you remove free speech from this equation, we are no longer a constitutional republic. We are no longer the United States. We may call ourselves the United States, but we cease to function as the United States. And that's an outcome that I personally don't want to see. And so I think it's imperative that we allow all voices to be heard, that we respect ourselves and empower ourselves with the ability to discern between good argument and bad argument, sound facts and not so sound facts. It's a duty and responsibility that we all enjoy. And again, I just want to bring this full circle. We almost died this weekend. Why? Because many of us accept at face value the narrative being put forward by our government. And we view our efforts, or anybody's efforts, to challenge that narrative as not only counterproductive, but un-American. No. We almost died this last weekend because our government is promulgating policies based upon misperceptions, deceptions, of the threat posed by Russia. We almost died this weekend because our government is lying to us. We have a duty and responsibility to expose these lies and to challenge these lies and compel our government to either change its policies or elect people that are capable of changing those policies. It's not interference in the American election to challenge these policies. It's not disinformation. It's what every American is supposed to do. When you have people whom we've elected to higher office to represent us, we have to hold them to account. And you can't hold them to account if your voice is silenced.
And one of the points that Sikorsky mentioned in this interview, he said that Ukraine can be part of the EU, but in the next 10, 20 years. I think, which was one of the reasons that in his visit to Kiev, he had some sort of serious disagreements with Zelensky, because Zelensky was talking about that Poland is not doing enough in favor of Ukraine to be part of the EU. And we had the same